Hello, hello, hello. I have been meaning to make this video for a very long time, so excuse the impersonal nature of this video. I'm making it for you, and I'm making it for this person and this person. So if you're watching this, this is for you. Okay, I'm going to go into a very brief explanation of this amazing frequency technology that I have been working with for about 6 months now, that I'm super excited about, and that I really think is a very key element in overall wellness. And I've seen it work miracles for people in my life, everything from super miracles to just really being helpful and supportive to things that are a little more hard to pinpoint. But it's something that now that I live with it, I can't see myself ever living without it. And I feel like when I explain it to people and they don't get it, I say, well, if someone told you in 1995, if you were alive then, that you would be eating kale, what would you have said? You would have said, kale's a garnish. We don't eat kale. So it's kind of like that. It's like, it's a very new field, and there are some people that are very on board and other people that are a little more skeptical, and that's all well and good, just the way everything is in the wellness world. So just listen to this video if you can with an open heart. And really try and feel into what it brings up in you. Because for me, when I first learned about it, it brought up all this excitement. And there was a lot of skepticism that came with that excitement too, because what I was hearing was unfamiliar from anything I'd ever heard before. But I kept coming back to that excitement, and I just took my time and said, is this excitement that I want to follow, or is this sort of like an impulse that maybe isn't the right thing to follow? But it ended up being excitement that I wanted to follow. I took a chance with this, and I am super happy that I have, and everyone that I've introduced it to has had a very positive experience, whether it was something that they felt like they wanted to keep using or whether it was just a positive experience in the moment. I haven't yet met anyone that was like, that was terrible. So anyway, just listen with an open heart and feel in if it works for you. Okay. So this is the device. It looks like a phone. There's a lot of different programs that come with the device. This is the program list here, and you see I'm loaded into the top. So without going into quantum physics or stuff like that, we can just say that we all know that we're energetic beings. We cannot stick our hands in a light socket because we will get electrocuted, because we are conductive. We conduct electricity. We have water in our bodies. Water is conductive of electricity. There's molecules, there's atoms. All of these things work in an electrical way. And there's a lot of research that we can go into in another video that's showing that electron clouds entangle with one another. So you all have experienced this, whether you know it or not. You've experienced the experience of thinking about someone and then all of a sudden they text you, or you've walked into a room and just felt off and then found out later that something bad happened in that room, or you've just gone to a town that's maybe more run down and having some economic strife or trouble, and you've just felt that heaviness. Everyone experiences being in a frequency in their body. However, you might not have had the words for it, but it's actually a very studied and real thing. Those are electrons mixing with your electrons that are causing a frequency disruption in your body. In the case, if we're talking about something negative, it could work in the opposite, where you go to an experience and everyone's really happy and it's just like this whole joy fest, and it's the same thing. It's very contagious. We all know that electricity and frequencies are contagious. We just haven't had maybe the language to explain it so far. So that is the principle that this device works on. It works on the frequency principle and influencing the frequencies, in this case, of your body, of your emotions. That includes your emotions. And we all know that emotions are very, very tied into anything we're experiencing physically in our bodies. I didn't want to believe that for a long time. I really wanted to separate what was happening with my body and what was happening with my mind, and that's just not true. It's all integrated. So you don't even have to believe that. It's just a fact. So that's part of how this works. So this device influences your frequencies, the frequencies both around you and your environment, the frequencies within your body, the frequencies of your organs, the frequencies of your emotions, all those things, and it helps optimize them. So it's a great educational tool to help discover what might be going on that you're not aware of, or that you are, and you're like, oh yeah, look, it's showing up just like I thought it would. And there's an aspect of the device that helps balance those frequencies, that offers your body the opportunity to optimize those frequencies. So that's sort of the nuts and bolts of how this works. And so I'm just going to take you basically through how I use this device in a day, and also how I use it with clients. I don't want this video to get too long because I know everyone has a short attention span these days, so I'll try and be brief, but I tend to be a wordy person. So you set up a profile on the device, and as you can see, my profile is loaded at the top. So on a daily basis, I start my morning with what's called a quick scan. Quick scan's awesome. What it does is it takes a sample of your voice, and it does a really quick scan of your body's frequencies. And based on that, it'll give you recommendations of different frequencies to use with the device throughout the day, or different supplements, and it also does a quick optimization of your frequencies for the day. So that's something that I do every single morning. I also do it as needed. There's a custom option that you can do any time of the day, and there's also an evening option, and that really helps wind down the body for night, etc., etc. One of the most powerful aspects of this device is actually called the inner voice. And the inner voice looks like this. So basically what you do is you record a 10-second recording of your voice. Now, this entire device can be done remotely. We can connect via Zoom, and I can connect you to the device via Zoom, and we can do everything remotely. So just know, as I'm saying this, that all of this can be done both in person and remotely. Basically, you take a 10-second sample of your voice. It will show you and analyze the octaves of your voice and what frequencies are showing up as out of range or in range. And based on that, it'll give you these 4 PDFs that are always so spot on about what emotion might be happening, how that might be impacting your physical body. And then the coolest part is that it gives you 4 MP3 frequency songs to listen to. They're 3 minutes long, so you can listen to them throughout the day. Some people listen to them I've had clients listen to them 15 times a day. You don't have to sit and be meditative and listen to them. You can be doing other things. You just throw your headphones in. They do work binaurally, so you don't need to, but you want to be wearing headphones, and you can just listen to them as you're washing dishes, as you're working, whatever it is that you're doing, taking a walk, going to sleep. They're really awesome for sleep, and people really love these. It's interesting. I've experienced this with a lot of people that are, some people that are more skeptical of the device will be like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, I'll listen to this. And then I'll get an email like, can you send me updated inner voice tones? I actually do have a subscription available that gives you daily, every single day, you send a 10-second recording of your voice, and I send you the tones for the day, because these things do change. The frequencies of your body are always changing. We're always being influenced by what's around us, what's happening within us. And so keeping those up to date is really, they'll still be beneficial if you listen to ones from yesterday, but it's kind of like reading yesterday's news, where it's still interesting, but it's not like today's news. So that's inner voice. Love inner voice. Great point of entry. The rest of the second aspect I want to talk about are the scans. So there's 2 different types of scans that the device runs. One is called a vital scan, and the other is called a comprehensive scan. The vital scan is essentially like a blood test, right? So it looks at parasites, fungus, mold, your blood levels in terms of fat and cholesterol and things like this. It looks at your organs, it looks at your digestive system. It's very comprehensive, vital markers. Again, this is not a diagnostic tool. This is just an educational, informational tool. And frequency is very subtle. So when we look at this, we really use it I always say when I'm working with someone, we look at the vital scans, not as a diagnostic and not as a predictive, but we look at it as information that can help lead us in a direction. So if you come to me and you say, yeah, I've felt really tired lately, and then we do a vital scan and it shows up that your cortisol is way out of balance and this is out of balance, we can say, okay, that's information. The information that I'm getting from your brain and your mouth is that you're tired. So now that makes sense. And let's look at that. Oh, maybe you're tired because there's something adrenal going on. Let's look deeper into that. So we just sort of use it in that way. And the same thing with the comprehensive. The comprehensive is like getting an MRI and a CT scan and any other, looking at your chromosomes. It's super, super in depth. And so that is also something that we look at if there's a specific issue. So if you have something going on with your physical body, like maybe you have a knee problem or a back problem or something like that, we can see on the scan where that issue might be originating from. It looks at nerves, it looks at veins. So again, we just compare what you're experiencing in your body to what's showing up on the scan as a way to get more interesting information than just, you know, talking, or which is all great, but just it's another layer of information. The cool thing about these scans is that after we run the scan, which takes anywhere from 1 minute to I think a maximum of 3 minutes, and is done again remotely or in person, is that it automatically does an optimization. So it automatically, and I sort of use the metal detector analogy for this. So you've seen those people on the beach, they look with metal detectors. What that's actually doing is the metal detector is sending a frequency into the earth and trying to see if there's a metal frequency coming back. So if it reaches the same frequency, it goes, oh, that's metal. Okay, now I can beep, 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 right? It's a match in frequency. Similarly to how an opera singer, if they sing at a specific frequency, they can break a glass because it's basically resonating at the same frequency as that glass, and it breaks it apart. So what the optimization does is after it sends the frequency to discover if your body is resonating at an ideal frequency for, say, I don't know, your liver function, and it says either it's in range or it's out of range. If it's out of range, it will offer an optimization frequency. So it could be a frequency that'll help balance, or it could be a frequency that would try and break apart the frequency, like in the case of a parasite or something like that. So it's very cool because as you're doing the scan and getting this information, you are also getting a treatment. And those treatments can be very powerful. I mean, there's stories upon stories of what an optimization has done for someone just in that moment. So those are the scans. Then my favorite part of the device is something called Cepheid, which is Subtle Energy Frequency Imprinter. Say that 7 times fast. It's very, very cool. And I use constantly. Like, I use it so much that I constantly have to refresh the cache on my device. Cache, I don't know how you say that, because there's so much information being processed every day. But basically, there's several ways that you can use this. You can imprint healing frequencies, which are all in here. There's different categories, everything from affirmations to flower essences to chakras to homeopathics to homeoenergetics, all sorts of affirmations. I think I said that already. And then an entire list of ailments like back pain, diarrhea, you name it, all there. And you can use this in several ways. You can actually broadcast frequencies to whomever is loaded in the top here. In this case, it's myself. And that, again, works in that quantum entanglement. So once you have a profile in the device, you've essentially created an avatar of yourself in the device. And that's how the device is able to communicate with you on a frequency level. Or you can imprint frequencies into an object. So for example, for myself, every single day I do a scan, and it will show me what the best frequencies might be for my body that day, or if I'm experiencing something in my body, and I will imprint them into a bracelet and wear it for the day. There's also really fun things that you can do throughout the day, like there's an energy clearing and an energy shielding. So if you're a practitioner of any type, or if you're working with a lot of people, if you're a hairstylist, or if you're on set, whatever it is, and you're going to be around a lot of people, you can both clear and shield your own energy. There's little quick programs, ones that are relaxing, or ones that are more like stimulating to sort of train your brain to wake up or calm down, either way. And it's just very comprehensive. So you can also imprint these frequencies into things that you can take internally. So you can imprint them into sugar pills, or you can imprint them into water, anything that holds a charge. So water holds a charge, ideally filtered water. Certain foods hold a charge, crystals hold a charge, precious metals hold a charge, things like that. So something else that I'm working on is creating custom frequency elixirs for people using frequencies that have shown up on their scans. This video is getting very long, and if you listen to me rattle on quickly about this for this long, I am super impressed. But there's just so much that you can do, and it's a very, I use it as a practitioner, but there are a lot of people that just own one for themselves and for their families. You can use it on your pet. They have a whole pet section. Nyla, our dog, responds really well to it. And it's something that the more you use, the more it's incorporated into your daily life, the greater of an impact that you'll have. And I'll just say my own experience, because I guess that's helpful. My own experience is that I have not been one of those miraculous change people. Like, I didn't go from having a problem to not having a problem after using the device one time. But it has really shifted a lot in my life in very subtle ways. So I find that I just am less anxious. I find that I'm more hopeful. I find that my energy, I can recover better from stress, things like that. I also just, it feels protective, and it feels like a added level of control is not the right word, but I guess control is the right word, control over my circumstances. So if I'm feeling insecure, for example, I can be like, okay, well, I can do all these other things, and I'm going to broadcast confidence, love, and self-esteem to myself all day long. So that's the way that I really love this device, and I really believe in it. So another option is that you can own one for yourself. They're very affordable, and use it every day. Use it with yourself, use it with your family. I'll just share one quick story. One friend who was in Germany, felt like she had a cold coming on, and we used the device and it just disappeared. So things like that do happen. Anyway, this was a long video, and I appreciate you listening. I will work on a shorter video at some point, but there's just so much to share. All right, have a beautiful, wonderful day.